This is Chris Lee of Southeastern 14, presented by the Bearded Irish Brewing Company, here to do SEC Power Rankings. Heading into the 8th weekend of conference play, we'll start at the bottom as always. I've got Ole Miss and Missouri at the 14 and 13 spots, respectively. Those teams will actually play this weekend to maybe give us some clarity on which is what. I've got Ole Miss at 14 and Missouri at 13 based on run differential. In league play, Ole Miss is minus 46, Missouri actually minus 55, so Missouri's actually worse. And frankly, maybe I should have had it reversed. But anyway, we'll settle the worst team in the league maybe this coming weekend when those two teams meet. Mississippi State, I've got at 12, based a little bit on recency. The Bulldogs have the worst scoring differential in the league at minus 82 in league play. That is astounding from a team that won the national title 2 years ago. Mississippi State fired Coach Scott Foxhall this week. Now, if you're wondering why is Mississippi State 12 with that run differential, well, they did take the series from Ole Miss a couple of weekends ago. So, look, we're splitting hairs at this point. None of these teams are having the seasons they want to have, and so that's that. All right, we get to number 11, and that's Georgia, which is 8 and 13 and a run differential of a pretty respectable minus 23. Really thought that Georgia had a chance to I'm not going to say stamp an NCAA tournament bid, but make better headway. And then Georgia goes and loses 2 of 3 at Ole Miss after sweeping Arkansas at home. A series this weekend with Tennessee is huge. That's in Athens where Georgia plays well. Then a road trip to Missouri. So the finale is going to be against LSU. That's going to be in Athens. But Georgia's got a chance between some opportunities to pick up wins at home and a road trip to Missouri to get some things done and maybe get that 10th or 11th bid for the SEC into the NCAA tournament. Certainly, Georgia's RPI is going to put the Bulldogs in that discussion if the league record is close. Auburn, your number 10 team this week. Auburn 9 and 12, and we did a bracketology video or a regional projections video, if you prefer. And Auburn did make our field of 64 this week, a minus 31 run differential in league play, giving up 167 runs. That Joseph Gonzalez injury has just been a killer for Auburn, but Butch Thompson does what Butch Thompson has been doing, which is getting the most out of his team. So Auburn at 10, and certainly a lot to play for as a team that could potentially get in the NCAA tournament. And again, right now, I would have them there. We've also got A&M there. A&M at number 9 this week. A&M just a minus 17 run differential. It scored 144 runs, but giving up 161 and just not getting answers anywhere. A&M this last weekend went and was swept at Arkansas. And the weekend before, it took a couple at Kentucky. So that was good for the Aggies to get those road wins there against Kentucky, a good RPI team. A&M still hasn't swept anybody this year. So been an interesting year in College Station. Aggies at 9 and 12 in the league and a whole lot to play for down the stretch. 8, Alabama. Alabama has had some fits with just pitching injuries and things like that. I don't think that fan base is happy, but as I've said all year, Alabama, I think a better team than people perceive. 9 and 12 in the SEC, but a +8 run differential. Huge series this weekend with Vanderbilt in Tuscaloosa. Number 7, the Kentucky Wildcats. And I think this is lower than Kentucky has been in a long time. Kentucky 11 and 10 in the league, +32 in run differential in league play, but a lot of that came early. The last 4 weekends, Kentucky has just had fits. It has lost 4 series in a row. It is, I'm not going to say fallen out of host consideration yet, but it's getting close. Kentucky needs to have a couple wins above losses in terms of SEC play. Right now, Kentucky at 11 and 10. They're not going to host with that kind of record in the league, but get to 16, 17 wins for sure. And I think with that RPI, Kentucky would host, but boy, it is tough. South Carolina at Tennessee, Florida, the 3 series remaining for the Wildcats. We'll see what they can do there. Okay, before we get to our top 6 in the countdown, Bearded Irish Brewing Company is our proud sponsor of our channel. The Sylvan Supply location it is in is home to Black Dynasty's Secret Ramen House. You'll find a wide variety of comforting bowls of meaty and vegan-friendly ramen with house-made noodles alongside rotating weekly features, seasonal sides, salads, and desserts. So go check out our friends at Bearded Irish Brewing Company if you are in Nashville and on the west side of town. Okay, number 6, the Tennessee Vols. This is higher than Tennessee's been in a while. Tennessee in league play is plus 23. Pythag record, if you like those kind of things. You don't really see those much in college sports, but Pythag's got Kentucky at 13-8 in the league, where it's 11-10 overall. Pythag record for Tennessee is 12-8 as opposed to the actual 11-10. That is based on runs scored and runs allowed, and there's a pretty good correlation with that and how much you win and lose over time. So the stats suggest that Kentucky and Tennessee underachieving just a little bit in the win column in SEC play. Okay, number 5, I've got the Florida Gators. I've not been quite as high on Florida as everybody else all year, and that's because pitching. Florida has given up 133 runs in the league. There's only one team in front of Florida that's given up more than that. We'll get to them at the end of this year. And you look at teams behind them. Kentucky's given up 105. Tennessee's given up 119. So Pythag record for Florida is 12-8. Actually, it's a little bit below that, an actual record of 14-7. So that suggests the Gators have overachieved just a little bit. And Pythag says the same thing about Arkansas. It's got them at 12-9, whereas the Razorbacks are actually 14-7. Now, look, Arkansas has pitched it a lot better. It's given up 114 runs. And when in doubt, I will defer to pitching. In Arkansas, I don't know how Dave Van Horn's done it with all the pitching injuries they've had, but he has. And the Razorbacks check in at number 4. A series at Mississippi State this weekend, a chance to really solidify what I think is getting to be an outstanding case to get a top 8 national seed. In fact, I've got Arkansas in that territory, or actually there. I think I've got Arkansas as the number 5 national seed right now. If you take care of business against Mississippi State, say win all 3, that's 17 wins. And I don't know if Arkansas gets left out of the hosting picture at that point, no matter what happens with South Carolina and Vandy, which are the last 2 series. Okay, to the Gamecocks. They had a bad weekend against Auburn, pretty shockingly losing 2 of 3 to the Tigers and winning that last one by 1. My goodness, Carolina had injuries hit this weekend, but still, this is a team that ends the weekend 14-6. Of course, it lost a game to Rain to LSU, or else maybe another win there would really change the perception of Carolina a little bit, because LSU's not been swept this weekend. But in any case, Pythag records got Carolina about where it is, 158 runs scored, 109 given up. A great season for South Carolina, and remaining series at Kentucky, at Arkansas, and Tennessee in Founders Park. All right, I got Vandy at number 2, despite what is hands down the best run differential in league play at plus 71. But let's be honest here. Vanderbilt also has played Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Georgia, Missouri, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky. That's the worst 4 teams in our countdown. Will not play LSU, hasn't played Arkansas or Florida yet. So Vandy has got some meat ahead on its schedule, and we will see how the Commodores do. But I've got them behind LSU at this point. I think LSU is probably going to end up winning the league based on present standings and schedule. LSU Pythag records only got LSU at 12-4 because it's given up 134 runs, but LSU is actually 15-5. LSU has also played at A&M, Arkansas, at Tennessee, at Carolina, Kentucky, at Ole Miss, Alabama. Easier schedule to come, at Auburn, Mississippi State, at Georgia. But yeah, Vandy's got a better run differential in league play to this point in time. But I like LSU's lineup better, even though the runs scored, LSU 175 in league play, Vandy 174. I don't think there's a lot of debating who's got the better lineup. LSU is most people's number 1 nationally. Again, I think it's going to end up winning the league based on the remaining schedules for Vandy, Carolina, Arkansas, and itself. And so I will roll with the Tigers at number 1 overall in our league power rankings again this week. Hope you've enjoyed these. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. That helps us get noticed. And the subscribe button, it costs you nothing. It's just a follow. Anyway, I'm Chris Lee for Southeastern 14, presented by Bearded Irish Brewing Company. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.